much. All right, this morning when I was looking for something to entertain you on, I was reading the Toastmaster magazine, and I saw a quote, "What do you think makes a speech funny?" And the quote is from Rochelle Williams in Bismarck, North Dakota, and she said, "It's finding something funny in the ordinary. Humor is often an exaggeration of the common or mundane. Find something you do daily and embellish it." Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I have never farted during a speech before. Well, that's what I'm going to talk about today. Farting! Because it is very common and mundane, and it happens all the time. So if farting offends, you might want to leave now, because this is going to be a very fun night of laughing at my life. Because for some reason, my life revolves around farting. Now, I should have known this when I married Fred, because I knew that his nickname growing up was Freddie Fart Fart. Our son is taking his spot very well, too. This morning, he let one off, and I just knew that he was just going to be a great Fred one day. Today, I want to share a few experiences with you of some farting. Because I think farting is hilarious. I went online and found the fart name list. You would not believe how many different types of farts there are. But Fred and I read them all last night, and we could identify most of them because we had done them ourselves. The first story I'd like to share is one of my roommates in college. Her name was Asha, but we lovingly referred to her as Beanie. Beanie had so much methane gas in her system, I'm surprised the house did not blow up. It's amazing. But one night, I was having a really bad day, and I came in, walked straight to my room, slammed the door, and just laid down on my bed. Well, Beanie comes in, and she's like, "Jenny, what's wrong? What can I do to make you happy? It looks like you haven't had a very good day." I'm like, "Beanie, there is nothing that you could say or do that would make me happy right now." It's just like, well, you know I fart a lot, right? Well, tonight I will share with you a secret so that you can feel better. That secret was, and she was holding back too. We thought she farted a lot, but she could fart on command. She could fart on command. We would just snap our fingers and she would fart. So we tested it out with a song. So you know the song, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, rock, 4 o'clock. Okay, well on the rocks, we would have her fart. So it went 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, gone. And she could honestly do that. It was the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. And it got me through that night. You know, farting, it gets me through hard times. But farting is not always a funny case. In fact, I have a sad story with farting. I can laugh at it. Now it's been a few years, but I was obsessed with this boy in college. I mean, really obsessed. He had blonde hair, blue eyes, from California. He was gorgeous. They have this thing at school called StalkerNet, where you can look up people's schedules, where they live, what their house number is. Oh yes. So I found out what Tyler's schedule was, and I would stalk him, and I would just go to where his class was letting out, and I would say, "Hey Tyler." The next day I would say, "Hey Tyler." Finally he said, "What's your name? You say 'Hey Tyler' to me every day and I don't even know you." "Oh, it's Jenny." So a couple of weeks of, "Hey Jenny, hey Tyler." I finally went to his house and just walked past his door. Now everyone in college leaves their door open because they're hoping that someone will drop in, just like I was doing. Finally, after weeks of doing this, of saying hi, I finally said, "You know what, Tyler? there's a dance coming up and I'm in charge of it. Will you come to it with me? He says, sure. Actually, it's a dance. Can we do something else? I said, yeah, let's go to the movies. So, the night comes, and Tyler picks me and Linnell up because we're going to do a double date with his roommate. Well, I wasn't nervous. Linnell was the one that was nervous. She was blow drying her armpits. She was so nervous. I was cool, calm as a duck. We go outside. We sit in the back seat as the girls. I don't know why they did this, but it's probably a good thing they did. Because what happened is, you've heard the phrase, silent but deadly? It wasn't a silent but deadly. It was a silent but violent. I squeezed a silent fart into the seat and hoped that no one would notice. But Linnell looks over at me and she gives me that look like, did you just fart? Yes, I did. Well, we just kept driving down the road, and eventually Tyler looks over at his roommate, says, dude. He lets the window down, and his roommate said, dude, that was your date. I never went out with Tyler again. Now, the last experience is probably my favorite with farting. Fred and I were laying in bed one night, just talking about the day, and all of a sudden, he leans over, gropes my leg, and lets out what is called the biggest fart in the world fart. I mean, biggest fart in the world fart. And he was holding my leg. I look over at him and say, Fred, why were you holding on to me when you farted? Jenny, I didn't want to blow away. Friends, Toastmasters, there's a lot of sad things in this world, and we must learn to laugh at the common things, like farting. And so I hope that the next time you fart, you're not embarrassed, but that you realize it's just part of life. Mount Toast.